James Held, Eiffel TV, NCK Global, and I've got promoter Eddie Hearn looking very debonair today, sir.
Thank you, mate. I'd like to confirm this is a real suntan. This is not a sunbed, but big day. Something we thought we'd never see. Great business makes great sense. And big day for us. Big coup for us to get the signing of Amir Khan. Big coup for Sky. Everybody was in it to win it. All promoters from around the world, and we won it. And I think Amir Khan's made a great move, and we're all very happy.
Did you ever think in your wildest imagination that you'd be sitting here announcing Amir Khan as a Matchroom fighter?
You know, I've always felt that it was the right move for both, but I never thought it would happen because there has been so much said in the past, and you know, we've met on a number of occasions, and we've always got on. But then you spin it off, and then he said that, and then I say something, and then you just think, but as I always say, you don't have to like me, you know. But understand this: we are number one worldwide, and if you want to be with the best promoters in the UK or the USA, be with us. It's not about ego. It's not about I'm doing this and he said that and I said that. It's about great business, and this is great business. One of the biggest stars in world boxing, one of the biggest stars in British sport, especially off the back of that Soppy programme, which was great for Amir. He's back, and you know, he last boxed here 5 years ago at a time where British boxing wasn't on the floor, but to where it is now is just incomparable. And now we're at a stage where we have one of our big stars back, and it's great for British boxing that Amir's back. I think that, listen, he's made some PR disasters in the past, haven't we all? But I think what the show did was show the real Amir Khan. He's been in great fights. He has a desire, and this is one of the reasons we signed him, to get back to win world titles, to be in big fights, and that appeals to me. And you know, he comes back at a time where British boxing's flying. What a time for British boxing! And now Amir Khan returns, 21st of April in Liverpool. Massive card, massive night of boxing.
Now, I know you don't base your business on the thoughts of what other fighters may think, but what do you think Kell Brook will be thinking today at this moment?
I told Kell Brook probably a month ago or so. We had a meeting, and I said, just to let you know, I'm talking to Amir Khan. But we've talked before to Amir Khan, so it was always like, oh, not again. And I said, look, you know, I think there's a chance we could work with Sky and ultimately lead us to the fight with you. Oh, how many times has that been said? And then he texted me last night, and I spoke to him, and I said, yeah, it's true, we're signing Khan. And, you know, it's good news for everybody. I don't think it certainly doesn't affect Kell Brook. It's a positive for Kell Brook because the barriers for that fight, many have been now removed. But everyone's got their own business to get on with. Kell Brook's got a very important fight on March the 3rd. Against Rabchenko. Amir's got a very important fight on April 21st. Of course, you know me. This is a fight I want to make. I've wanted to make it for 2 or 3 years. It's a fight that I'm going to try and make, and I think it's a fight that can happen. There's huge fights for both guys. You know
the vast audience that watches Eiffel TV. Tony Bellew coincidentally got cast from a Rocky film, rumours have it, from Eiffel TV. Any producers watching this, have you got any inklings to want to go into I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, or Celebrity Come Back?
No. I was actually asked once to go on I'm a Celebrity after Froch Groves. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. You know, when Amir did it, we started talking before I'm a Celebrity. We was going to make this move in December, and then he went on that show, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this could be a disaster. And I remember watching that Bush Tucker trial with the snakes, and I'm a commercial guy. I'm a ruthless guy. So part of me was thinking, oh God, Amir, what's going on? And the other part was thinking, this is great, Amir. Keep it going, son. People are actually seeing you. You're being exposed here to the public, raw. And actually, everybody that's met Amir, everyone that's spent time with him, has always told me what a nice bloke he is. So, and I've always thought probably opposite. But when I've met him, he seemed fine. What the show did was actually show you that he is a nice geezer. And I think the support for him now is better than it's ever been. Still people who don't like him, still people who don't like you. But we're back. And I believe he's going to be an unbelievable addition to British boxing.
Would you advise other boxers to go down that route? Because it could have backfired on Amir Khan massively. The fact he's taken
it could have. It was a massive, mate.
On the back of some bad PR going into there.
Listen, when I heard it, I was like, this is either going to be an absolute disaster or a genius move. And as it turns out, it was a genius move. And it wasn't that it was conniving. It weren't like us, we were going there, we're going to do this, we're going to say that. He just went in there and he was just himself. And now, although hardcore fans won't like it, you have a massive casual audience for Amir Khan. I know the hardcores don't like the casuals. I do. You know why? Because there's fucking loads of them. So increase the audience, make boxing accessible to everybody, make people tune in, watch the show. Like I said, huge undercard in Liverpool on April 21st, and a massive night that will draw huge attention, huge viewing figures, and get people talking about boxing, or continue talking about boxing because they're already talking about it.
Speaking of PR disasters, I want to come on to a subject that's been quite topical over Christmas and the festive period that involves none other than OHARA Davies. OD. Firstly, what's your take on the whole situation regarding...
My take on the situation was that he was incredibly naive, he was incredibly ignorant, he didn't necessarily know what he was talking about. Tough. You make the statements, you want to be that person, you have to stand by what you do. And he made statements that were highly offensive on a subject you just do not talk about, as far as I'm concerned. It offended my friends, it offended fighters that we represent, it offended a city that we're very fond of and we do a lot of work with and we love going to. So we felt we had to act. We had to put a statement out there that you know, was condemning what he said, because we were very disappointed with what he said. Was he unlucky? Maybe, but again, it's not the first time. And people say, oh well, someone else has done this in the past, you've never done. This is not a new thing for OHARA Davies. You know, you go back to Robbie Davis's, the tweets to him, you go back to Paddy Barnes, his wife, you go back to the Fowl tweets recently. The British Boxing Board of Control have called OHARA in to talk about his behaviour on social media. But I want to make one thing clear. OHARA Davies is a good guy. He's a nice bloke. But what has happened is he has, and I had a meeting with him the other day, he has tried to be a character to get himself noticed and recognised. And because of the hate that he's received in the process, he's almost become that character. Do you know what I mean? And I sat there the other day and said, OHARA, this is not you. You're not this guy. It's all very well calling someone out, and we'll love that all day long. We'd encourage that. But then you go so far over the top, you just be this horrible... I said, I read your social media. I think you're a knob. I think you're disgusting. I don't like you. Yet you come in my office, and I love spending time with you. I love being around you. I love watching you train. I love watching you fight. But he's got to make changes, because we, as a business, we can't have it. We can't be associated with those kind of tweets. We can't be associated with those kind of messages. And people say, oh, you were harsh. You threw yourself under a bus. I'm sorry, but he couldn't have tweeted anything worse, in my opinion. Because, and people say, oh, it's only about news. It's not. This goes deeper than that. You know, this is something that's very personal to a lot of people. And unfortunately, when you want to open your mouth and say a variety of different things, if you're naive or ignorant enough to say the wrong thing, you're responsible for your own actions. I felt we had to act. My actions were to take him off the show on February the 3rd, because we had to do something, in my opinion. Whether he fights for us again, that's something that will be discussed in the future.
You're genuinely considering termination?
No, listen, but there has to be a change, James. This is something that's continuously happening. If he sits down and says, look, I've got to change, I understand that, he may not want to change. He may say, fuck you, Eddie, I'll do what I want to do. If you do, good luck. We'll shake hands, I wish you God bless.
Have you ever encouraged him to play up and be a character?
Listen, not go and do this. But yeah, of course, we know that what he's doing has been effective. But there's a line, and at least people might say, yeah, but you're encouraging him. No. We encourage him to call fighters out, of course, but we don't encourage him to talk personally about people's wives, about, you know, fathers, about immigration incidents, about, you know, something like that in Liverpool, which is so, like, again, when he put the message out, I said, you could not have tweeted anything worse, in my opinion. That's how I felt about it. And people say, oh, it's only about this. It's not. It's, you know, when he's got a relationship with the city of Liverpool like he has, which is so volatile, was he unlucky? Maybe. It doesn't matter. It's tough. If you're going to say that, you're going to put that out there, you're better off coming off. My advice to him is come off social media and be OHARA Davies. You've established yourself now as a name. You don't have to be an arsehole, because you're not. There's nothing better in life than being yourself and being comfortable with who you are. But he's stuck between these different characters. He leaves our office and he's like, oh, Joe, you're a nice bloke. And then you look at his tweets and you think, someone got his phone, you know? So, you know, I felt that we had to do something, and we had to make a stand, and we had to let people know that we were disgusted by it as well, because we were. And it was ignorant, it was naive, and he didn't know the history. But tough. You did it, you said it, you got to take the rap.
Would you have the audacity to box him in Liverpool?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not even. What happened is not funny. Sometimes, you can turn up at a press conference and say, "You shut up, you scouse." That's fine. But again, things happened, and we had our meeting. He says he didn't know. I believe him. Tough. You want to be that guy. You want to say that stuff, mate. You say something. Doesn't matter. You can't delete it off social media. Everyone should know by now. As soon as you post it and you take something down, you get 8 screenshots saying, "I see what Hearn put up," and then he deleted it. And the same with OHARA Davies. So it is what it is. We're not ruling out working with him in the future, but things have got to change.
Would you consider running his Twitter account for him?
Possibly, not me personally, but the people.
But
Yeah. But he has to. If something, look, everyone gets negativity on social media who is even remotely in the public eye. Mate, if you read, and some of the things, by the way, that are sent to OHARA Davies are disgusting. I've seen it, people have seen it. Mate, some of the things that are sent to me are disgusting. But if you can't handle it, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Do you think I want to read people calling me a prick all day? No, but they do. But luckily with me, I can take it. I don't like it, by the way. It doesn't get me off. I'd rather people were messaging me saying, "You're great, you already. What you're doing for British boxing is great. Keep going, my son." Yeah, because everyone likes a pat on the back. But if you can't handle the hate, don't be that person, and you can't just say, "Well, this guy," "Well, look at the stuff I get on social media." What you get on social media is disgusting. But you put yourself in a position, and his position is he wants to be the bad guy. My position is I'm the promoter. I charge you money. You're going to hate me. That's fine. I accept that, But it's part of the job. It's part of the job if you want to be that guy to take the hate as well. It's unacceptable, by the way, a lot of the hate that he's been getting. But the hate will stain you and it will make you a bad person. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't read that stuff and it not affect you. So leave it. Walk away from it. Walk away from social media. Concentrate on your fighting. Be a good guy. Be with your friends. Unfortunately, OHARA lives a lot of his life through social media, as many people do these days. And it's very worrying for the future of our country, and this is probably not for IFL, but that, and this goes for my kids as well, and probably that maybe in 10 years' time, people will be going for a drink or dinner. They won't even say a word. You see it now.
It's happened.
It happens with me and my mates. We're out, and then in the end we say, look, everyone put the phones in the middle. It's ridiculous. People live their lives through social media, and OHARA Davies is one of them. When I had a meeting with him the other day, and I said, "You need to come off social media," it was like he just lost a leg or something. I don't know. It was like the look on his face was like, "No, but you've got to make a change. This isn't funny anymore." So we'll see. But again, as I said to OD, I like OHARA Davies. He's a nice bloke. He's been incredibly stupid, but we felt like we had to do something.
Speaking of Twitter stuff, we saw an hour before Amir Khan's announcement today, Frank Warren tweeted out that Tyson Fury will
Funny that.
his British Boxing Border Control licence and due potentially in April. Thoughts on that situation?
Tyson Fury's talking to everybody. I spoke to him this morning. He spoke to Anthony Joshua at the weekend. He's speaking to dozens of promoters. He doesn't know what he's doing or what he's going to do. I'll make one thing clear. We are happy to enter negotiations to fight Tyson Fury now. Not as in March, because we know what our plan is to have another unification fight and win another belt. But we are happy to fight Tyson Fury in the summer, in the autumn, in the winter of 2018. We can't base our career on someone that isn't fit, doesn't have a licence and hasn't boxed in 2 years and has pulled out the last 2 fights. We don't need to. Anthony Joshua's career has been planned perfectly. We have a great strategy. But if he can show us that he's real, Tyson Fury, then judging by the conversations that I've had with Anthony, I believe a deal can be reached with Tyson Fury. And we're ready and willing to open those discussions. But less talk, more action. And I'll say one thing now. Anthony Joshua doesn't get the credit for the fights that he's taken and stepping up for. This Joseph Parker fight will mean that after 21 fights, Anthony Joshua has had 2 unification fights for the heavyweight world championship. He is running from no one. He will fight everybody. You have got a guy who will fight everybody. and has already had 2 unification fights within 21 fights. Look at Wilder. What's he had, like 162 fights or something like that, and he's never fought anyone. You know, and he wants 50-50. We do good business, we do honest business, and we pay people on time. It still gets under my tits that fighters in this country are not getting paid. I saw one of them tweet you yesterday. He ain't been paid either. There are promoters out there that aren't paying fighters, aren't paying them on time, and even worse, and I won't mention any names, but there are fighters out there, promoters out there, you see their accounts, and anybody can go to company's house and open a set of accounts, can look at a company's accounts, go and look at Matchroom, go and look at Queensberry, go and look at BoxNation. It's not a problem. Some promoters out there have got as little as 500 quid in the bank, and they are paying 6-figure purses to fighters. Do your research, understand, get your money. This ain't a game. This is the fight game, the most brutal business in the world. You fight, you get paid. And the board need to do more, you need to do more as well. And if people want to speak up about it, make sure you interview about it.
Listen, anyone that wants to speak about anything is welcome to the platform.
Good.
That is the whole point of the platform.
Good.
Let's talk a little bit about Joshua Parker. We know his representatives are here in the UK. Your man Higgins is in town.
My man Higgins. You could have a lot of fun with him next week.
I'm looking forward to spending a bit of time with
I'll tell you what, he's a bit nuts, David Higgins, but he's a good guy. He knows what he wants. We're moving at speed. We had about 4 hours yesterday. He only arrived in the UK at 5 o'clock in the morning, so he was a bit tired. We're drafting. We've overcome most of the points in the agreement. We've probably got about a dozen to go, all of which you could have a major argument about if you really wanted to, but generally you'd think it will be okay. Not done yet. Hopefully Parker will come at the weekend. Hopefully we'll get an announcement next week.
What's AJ's mindset? He's
fight anybody, tell me who to fight. I want all the belts. I want the biggest fights out there. I want to give the public the best fights. Easy. So easy to work with a guy like that. It's just about doing good business, you know, and that's our job. And ultimately, we have a responsibility to chase the dream, which is the undisputed dream, which is every belt in the division. And if he can beat Joseph Parker, we have one to go.
Now, I know you've been away with your family jet setting this Christmas. We haven't had a chance to have an in-depth look back, reflection on 2017. You and Brook are normally doing great annual video stuff. A bit disappointed about that, but we're not going to that.
He's away all the time, isn't he? I mean, he's had about 8 holidays.
He's almost away as much as you.
Not quite, but you know.
Not quite.
2017 was obviously incredible. I mean, we've won multiple awards for Promoters of the Year, Events of the Year, Fights of the Year. Joshua Klitschko was the standout. Sometimes I feel like Brook Spence went a bit under the radar because it was 3 weeks after Joshua Klitschko. But 26,000 at Bramall Lane for a double header, Brook Spence and Groves Chudnoff. It's a brilliant night.
If Brook would have got the win night, do you think it would have got more credit?
Yeah, possibly. But you know, when you're in elite fights, you don't always win. Hay Bellew was, you know, back in May, but people sort of forget about the stuff in the middle. You know, I mean, even at the end, beginning of February, Gavin McDonald was challenging for the world title in Hull. Then we had Crolla Linares in Manchester. Then we had Burns fighting a unification against Ndongo. Then we had Ryan Burnett challenging for the world title against Lee Haskins. Then he went on to unify. Luke Campbell boxed Linares. Crolla boxed Burns. You know, and it's just like a mad year that major fights sometimes sort of you look at as a lot of mediocre stuff now. And that's the challenge of 2018. How do you beat it? How do you keep, you know, and that's the plan. The competition's great, there's more broadcasters, more promoters, and I'm hungrier than ever to stay number one. And this is a major coup for us today. I've got things that I'm working on. They've got to come off, but let me tell you, it's going to change world boxing. And we are establishing ourselves in key markets as the number one. Of course we're number one in the UK, we have been and we will remain that. We want to be number one in the US. Major things happening worldwide. And I tell you what, if you are a fighter, you want to get your eggs in order, one place to be. UK, US. Matchroom, baby.
I tell you what, 2018's got to work hard to top.
It has.
You
maybe
Tony Bellew celebrating with the high five.
Have you seen the headbutt?
I saw the headbutt.
I didn't even know that happened. I was like, listen, I spoke to my old man the other night and he said, he was away with me, and he said, you know, you're a lucky bastard. He said, you had some great nights, haven't you? I mean, we were talking about the nights, and I said, you know, Froch against Butte, Bellew at Goodison Park, Brook beating Porter, Darren Barker beating Daniel Gill, AJ beating Klitschko, Froch beating Groves. He said, I was in the game for like 20 years. He said, I can really only remember 2 or 3 standouts. But they're the nights you live for. They're the nights that when you walk away, you're going to remember forever. We want more of those nights.
Do you reckon you could do that face when Froch beat Butte? Do you remember the face that you pulled when you ran into the ring? Do you reckon you could do it?
Just like it's like a gurn. Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, all right, the ref hadn't stopped the fight, but what's that matter?
I wasn't going to mention that.
No, but there's things, you know. I mean, we look at this year. You know, February the 3rd, Cody Chamberlain. You know, we're going to sell 7,000 or 8,000 tickets for that fight at the O2. I mean, you know, it's incredible. We've got March the 3rd, Kell Brooks coming back. March the 10th, still got to get it over the line. Very close, Scott Quigg against Oscar Valdez. It's such a big fight. And that's a great example right there of the kind of night that I live for. Scott Quigg going to become a 2-weight world champion in LA after all the shit he's got over the year, after the poor performance against Carl Frampton that's plagued him for ages, a chance, and I believe a great chance to win a world title. They're the nights that I just live for. They're the nights where your heart's pumping through your shirt and you just can't wait. And you know, after that, you've got March the 24th, we're trying to secure, and hopefully today or tomorrow, Dillian Whyte against Lucas Brown. And I will say something about that as well. These guys, people go on Instagram, oh, here I am, I'm on a bike, who wants to fight me? I'm ready for anyone. Oh, okay, mate, well, do you want to fight Dillian Whyte? Yeah, no problem. Oh, here's the offer. Well, they're nearly there, but if you give me this, I'll fight him. Fucking hell. Go on then, mate, there's that. Oh, actually, I've got another offer. I mean, like, it's all bollocks. Lucas Brown, what are you doing, mate? You're talking about a Brazil fight. You don't even have a contract for it. It's just... Everybody, read your social media. You said, do you want me to fight in UK or America? No one wanted you to fight in America. No one's even heard of you in America. 24th of March, O2 Arena, Dillian Whyte, he's WBC #1. And for fuck's sake, Lucas Brown, Dillian Whyte is calling me 9 times a day. Just sign the contract. It's a great deal. It's a load of money. If you win, you become mandatory for the WBC world title. You're top 5 in every governing body. You say you want it. You say you wanted the amount of money. We'll give you that money and a little Brucey bonus on top. Sign the fucking contract. Dillian Whyte drive me mad. Anyway, March the 31st, probably going to be Joshua against Parker, all being well. April the 14th, we're in Dublin. Just finalising that, looks like the return of Katie Taylor. April 21st, Amir Khan. April 28th, Brooklyn with Danny Jacobs. May the 5th, Hay Bellew, and so much more to come.
Exciting times for this season, Eddie Hearn. Thank you very much for your
time
today. Great pleasure, and we'll catch you soon.
Cheers.